So the next topic that we will do is lymphatic system. So children, as we know that blood is the fluid connective tissue. Similarly, there is another fluid connective tissue that is present in the body. This is called lymph. So lymph includes lymph vessels and lymph nodes or glands. As the blood passes through the capillaries, there are three blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. And capillaries are the ones which connect arteries and veins, and they are very thin, very narrow. So as the blood passes through the capillaries in the tissue, some water and soluble substances are filtered out from plasma into the intercellular spaces to form interstitial fluid. Now children, mark my words. As we know, capillaries are very narrow. Now, because capillaries are very narrow, so the blood is getting very little space to move inside the capillaries. And because of that, great pressure is developed. Okay, now you imagine that you are inside a corridor which is very broad, so you will not have any problem. No pushing of people in the queue will be there. But if the corridor is very narrow, what will happen? Everyone will push each other and they will try to move forward, due to which the pressure is exerted. Similarly, because the capillaries are very narrow, a pressure is built up, and due to that pressure, some water and some soluble substances of the plasma come out, or they are getting filtered out, and they are spread out into the intercellular space of the tissues. And this tissue fluid or interstitial fluid is called as plasma. Sorry, lymph. This interstitial or tissue fluid is known as the lymph. Now children, lymph and plasma both have same mineral distribution. Why? Because lymph is actually made from plasma. Okay, so lymph and plasma are having same mineral distribution because lymph is actually taken out from plasma. Now this tissue fluid or lymph enters the lymphatic system, and the tissue fluid in them now is called as lymph. As it has entered this tissue fluid, as it has entered the lymphatic system, so now we call it as lymph, and it drains back into the major veins. As we know that plasma is colorless, lymph is also colorless fluid. And why is it named as lymph? Because it has lot of lymphocytes. Now lymphocytes are the cells which provide immunity to the body. See, right? So you can see that this is an arteriole. Okay, this is an artery, and the smallest part of the artery is called arteriole. Okay, now this arteriole is getting divided further into many branches, you see. Okay, which are called the capillaries, because arteriole, when it divides further, it becomes capillaries, and the capillaries join together to form vein. You see, it will join together to form vein. Now the blood is always flowing inside these blood vessels. But what happens, sometimes in the capillaries, the blood, due to high pressure, the liquid part of the blood gets filtered out. Now where will it go? Of course, it will come into the space which is left, the interstitial space, or the space in between the blood vessels. So all the liquid part of the plasma, like water and some soluble material, that will get filtered out, and it will come into the space outside the vessels, blood vessels, and then this is called the tissue fluid, you see. Okay, then this tissue fluid will enter the lymphatic system or the lymph vessel, and now this tissue fluid, because it has entered into the lymphatic system, now it is known as lymph, and the lymph is also colorless. Children, functions of lymph, you see here, it is the middleman between blood and tissues. Tissue fluid help to exchange nutrients, gases, etc. between the blood and the cells. It carries plasma proteins, the proteins which were present in the plasma, synthesized in the liver to the blood. Then transports digest fats through lacteals. Okay, this is a lacteal, you see. See, this is a villi. Okay, the villi, and there are two supplies. One is the supply of blood capillaries. This is artery. Here inside this side it is vein. Okay, and these are the capillaries. So this is a blood capillary, and lymph is also supplied, you see, and this is a vessel, lymphatic vessel, which is also known as lacteal. So the lacteals will carry the lymph inside it. Okay, and it transports digested fats. Now the digested fats are transported through these lacteals. Okay, they will also transport fat, soluble vitamins, hormones, etc. Filtration of bacteria and foreign particles. Lymph nodes produce, now this point is very important. Lymph node produce WBCs, especially lymphocytes and many antibodies, which are responsible for the immunity of the body. Children, I will also cover here the disorders of circulatory system. So the first disorder of circulatory system is hypertension or high blood pressure, you see. So pressure of circulating blood on the walls of the blood vessels is called blood pressure. I just told you, if the vessels are narrow, so the blood pressure will be high because the blood is not getting enough passage to move forward. So pressure, blood vessels always have a certain pressure, but if the blood vessels become narrow, the pressure increases, and if the blood vessels are wider, then the pressure will decrease. Normal BP is around 120 by 80 mm of mercury. Okay, now this includes two pressures. One is the systolic pressure, which is the pumping pressure. The systolic pressure is always given to be 120, which is normal, and the diastolic pressure, which is the resting stage, when the heart is resting stage, at that point of time the pressure is around 80, then we say that everything is normal inside the body. So during contraction, the pressure is around 120 in a normal healthy person. But during relaxation of the heart, the pressure is around 80, which is normal and we say that the case is fine. But during hypertension, what happens? Now, when the blood pressure is higher than normal, we call it as hypertension. Children, if an individual repeatedly has BP of 140 by 90 or above, then we can say that the person is suffering from the problem of hypertension. It leads to heart diseases and affects vital organs like brain, kidney, etc. Now you see, if it is 110, 70, it's normal. Now 120, 80, pre-hypertension. 140 to 90, hypertension stage 1. If it is 160 to 100, it is hypertension stage 2. And if it is 180 by 110, we say hypertension crisis. And beyond that, stroke, heart attack. So hypertension these days is quite a big problem even in the students or children. If a person is suffering from hypertension, the blood pressure is higher than the normal BP, it is hypertension. We have to take care of certain things. We have to avoid foods that are not supposed to be taken during if the person is suffering from hypertension, like salt. Enough of salt should be avoided. Lot of ghee or saturated fat should be avoided. Red meat should be avoided. You can have fish, you can have chicken, white meat, but not red one. Lots of oils should be avoided. Hard drinks should not be taken by the person. If the person is suffering from hypertension, these 10 natural foods are very important to lower the blood pressure. A person can have these fruits to lower down the blood pressure. Second disease is coronary artery disease, also called as CAD or atherosclerosis. Now here the calcium, fat, cholesterol and fibrous tissue are deposited in the coronary artery. You see, arteries have a passage, very good passage. But if this passage is blocked by certain things like calcium or fat or cholesterol or some kind of fibrous tissue, what will happen? The passage for the blood will be narrower, and because of that narrow blood pressure, the pressure is increased, and this is how the person is suffering from various problems. It makes the lumen of arteries narrower and hereby affects the blood supply. So this is CAD. Then we come to angina, also called as angina pectoris, an acute chest pain due to oxygen deficiency to the heart muscles. If the proper oxygen supply is blocked, the person can have acute pain in the chest. It occurs due to improper blood flow, and it is common in middle-aged and elderly people. Angina pain. Heart failure. Now, what is heart failure? It is the inability of heart to pump blood enough to meet the needs of the body, right? So, congestion of the lungs. If the person is suffering from cold and congestion, what will happen? The lungs will not be able to supply proper oxygenated blood, and because of that the heart is not pumping, or heart is also not getting enough blood, and due to which the heart can fail, and it is congestion of lung is the main symptom of heart failure. Cardiac arrest. Now cardiac arrest is suddenly if the heart stops beating. Now it's cardiac arrest is an electrical problem. Suddenly the signals which were supposed to get or the electrical signals given by the SAN, if suddenly that fails, then the heart will stop beating, and heart attack is the plumbing problem, because you see there is a blockage in the artery, and due to that blockage the person suffered from cardiac arrest. Heart attack, it is the sudden damage of the heart muscles, because muscles are the one which will contract and relax. So if the cardiac muscles are suddenly damaged, so there will be no contraction and relaxation, and due to which inadequate blood supply will be there, and this is how the person suffers from heart attack. So children, here we finish the lesson of body fluids. Have a nice day.